All right. Looks like everything's working. I think I got volume and we're going to get this thing going. So, a couple minutes early. Well, welcome back, everybody. This is number 4 of the live stream series that I'm going to be doing each month. I'm playing a little bit of catch up on last month and wanted to make sure Black Level members, I'm going to be doing a sort of impromptu one for those members at 7 p.m. tonight after this one. We're going to be doing this 30-minute live, and members are able to chime in on the chat. So if you're not familiar with our YouTube memberships, we started this a few months back. It's a way for you to support Freeheel Life and basically be part of what we're doing in terms of content. Looking forward to finally getting some snow. I know we've been doing a lot of videos on past snow videos and getting that stuff up, a lot of stuff in the shops and behind the scenes stuff with our manufacturing, with doing ski production of our protector skis, the Bluebird day gear items, the leashes, the levers, and the smile plates. And looks like we have a couple people in here. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Check out if you're interested in finding ways to support Freeheel Life, this is a great way to do it. Getting on the channel and becoming a part of this community, telling us what kind of content we can produce for you to help out. We've been trying to diversify, everything from these live videos to obviously the podcast. I've moved to video format. And obviously when it snows, we're going to be getting into more instructional stuff. If you're familiar with our 1 Hot Minutes, which are brief instructionals, those will obviously be free content, but we're going to deep dive into more of what kind of content you may want on the instructional side in the membership videos as well. Excuse me. I think that's a really good way for us to be able to produce that content, kind of keep it all in one place. And instruction seems to be the thing that most people want. So I have gotten into, I've purchased a couple new apps that I'm going to be able to use. I'm kind of playing around with them and wanted to let you know that I am working on that. Those apps are going to allow me to do some, not only better podcasting, also better live streams, and also the ability to break down videos. I was trying to find a way, to come into 2023 as a content creator and basically find ways to be able to produce videos where I can also analyze videos and sort of talk about what's going on and help with that. Because I know that that's really important when you're looking at technique, not just getting these instructional videos, but also having maybe a way to be able to watch somebody break down technique and how it's looking on the video of another person. So I am working on that. I'm just going to update you a little bit before I hop into the topic today, which I'm going to be talking about outlaw binding specifically, and kind of wanted to break down some pieces of that as we're heading in. People are starting to ski at the resorts next week. Some people are hiking. I know Telly Tay was up hiking at Alta a couple days ago. Not coming off a 900-inch year. It hasn't been as much snow here in the Wasatch as that, but it's cooling off and we're slowly getting there. So I wanted to talk about our best-selling binding and go over a couple pieces of that. Some newsroom and notes I kind of wanted to bring up. I talked about on the podcast yesterday we are or have been mostly appointments only, and we are opening this Saturday regular hours though. So 9 to 5 will be open this Saturday. And I wanted you to know that we are going to have a couple people on staff, one person that's actually handling the appointments. So if you go to book an appointment on Saturday, there will be someone that is going to be able to handle that. That way, if you book a boot fitting or a heat mold or something like that, you know that somebody's actually going to be there to help you with that. And I believe this Saturday, it's going to be me and Ashley. So it's going to be the OG crew on Saturday helping you out. Now, Monday through Friday, we have appointments open pretty much 9 to 7 Monday through Friday. And the whole reason we're moving to this appointments during the week is really to give more attention to our customers. You know, what we don't want is when it gets overloaded and people are sitting around and it's difficult. So other than the boot, there's 2 appointments that there's a deposit on. Boot fit is a $20 appointment, and then that goes towards the purchase of the boots anyways. Or, you know, if it's somebody you're purchasing the boots elsewhere, you know, that's a way for us to be able to cover our time. But we're willing to help you with that too. If you know, maybe you're a patroller or somebody that's got a pro form and you need to get fit, that's a good product for you too. And we're happy to do that. We just wanted to find a way to be able to cover the expense of our time. There's a consultation call. So if you're asking us about product that we don't carry, you can book a call. We've been doing a lot of these this week, and it's been great. If it's a $25 call for 30 minutes, and you can call in, and we'll share our expertise, and you can put that towards a purchase if it's something that we carry within 30 days. And if it's not something we carry and you just cannot find information elsewhere, I did a call the other day. Gentleman wanted me to study up on 4 different pairs of skis and give my expertise on that. We had a great call. Unfortunately, he wasn't buying our protector skis, but that's okay. We were happy. I was happy to do the work to help him. So I just wanted to mention that. Other things I want to call out: Bluebird Day Gear. We've been busting out leashes, levers, and smile plates. There's new retailers: Neptune Mountaineering in Boulder, Bentgate in Golden, and Salida Mountain Sports in Salida, all in Colorado. Mammoth Mountaineering in Mammoth Lakes, California. The Mountaineer in Keene Valley, New York. Alta Ski Shop, once they open, will also carry our products. So you've got some on the hill access to leashes and the like. So just wanted to bring that up. It's exciting for us. We're moving into that wholesale business and really working on that. Now, before I hop into the topic today, I did want to mention the podcast came out yesterday, episode 181. Ooh, I pissed some people off. So there was some great comments from people, and I think there was definitely some comments of people who did not like what I was having to say. And, you know, our mission is still the same: preserve, protect, promote telemark skiing. And I was merely trying to share some anecdotal stuff because I feel like it's necessary. It's something I feel like is helpful. And I want to be a company that you all trust out there. Like I said in the podcast, we want to earn your business. We want to keep your business. And we want to be focused on telemark skiing 100% of the time. So anyways, feel free to listen to the podcast. I'm always open to comments, whether you agree or don't agree. That's cool. And, you know, we just need to do what's best for the business. Those comments I am reading, and I think there's some probably follow-up that needs to happen. I know some people maybe were a little confused. I don't know, but I'm totally cool answering questions and doing our best to clear up whatnot. And honestly, it sounds like there's some people that maybe don't think we're the right company to support anymore because of that conversation. And that's cool too. You know, I want you to make an informed decision. I definitely would like you to understand my position as a business owner. And I think that's important. But hey, if you don't agree with me and you think I suck, that's cool. You don't have to buy stuff from us. And that's totally cool. And we're going to keep on promoting telemark skiing and doing our best to, you know, not only promote it, try to solve problems, which is really what Freeheel Life's always been about as a business, trying to adapt and identify problems and solve those. So take a listen. Episode 181 is out, and you can tell me if you love me or hate me in the comments, and I'm more than happy to read them. But just know I love you all out there. So even if you unsubscribe from the channel, I hope all the rest of you subscribe to the channel and hit that like and notification button so that we can continue to connect with you out there in telemark land. So today, I wanted to hop in to a special edition of talking about the 22 Designs Outlaw X, which is the #1 selling binding out of Freeheel Life, and one that we've really leaned on since it came out in the original iteration of the Outlaw. And a couple things. The first thing I wanted to mention is that anybody who's listening to this podcast and would like to get a little deal on an Outlaw afterwards, you can go and use a coupon, Outlaw Live, one word, all caps, Outlaw Live, and take 10% off your pair of Outlaws right now until 5 p.m. tomorrow. That coupon will expire. But I would love for you to get that. And hopefully some of this information I'm going to share today will maybe entice you either to get a pair for the first time, save a little money, save 10%, or maybe learn a little bit more about it and maybe get another pair if you already have one. So let's hop right into this. We're gonna be talking about the Outlaw X from 22 Designs. I've done a little bit of, I think in the public live, I actually went through a bunch of this. I know in the Black Level member, we talked about sort of the different the NTN bindings and whatnot. See if I can make some room for this is a little harder with the microphone. I gotta get like the boom mic and use that instead. But for those of you that aren't familiar with Outlaw X, I'll just give a brief overview of it. This is an NTN binding. It's got a free pivot tour mode down here. So free pivot tour actually disengages the spring and allows you to tour up. So let me see if I can do that here to show you. So you can see that disengages the spring and basically allows you to tour with a free pivot tour mode. Now it's not free pivot to the point where you have tech toe where you have full range of motion, but you've got quite a bit. And for most people, this is adequate for backcountry touring. That's one nice aspect of Outlaw X is it's just sort of built in. And I honestly think that's why most people end up on this product is it's super small on the ski, doesn't take up a lot of space. This free pivot tour mode is easy to use with a ski pole. It's also a step-in binding and basically allows you to put your foot in, and then as you step in, this cams onto the boot, onto the second heel of the boot, and very easy to use. So the thing that I like about this binding is it's very user-friendly. It's built where it's not going to break a whole lot, and I think that it's a good place to start an NTN and very easy to use. Now, one thing I wanted to talk a little bit about, if you've watched some of the more recent videos, some of the membership videos, some of the other videos on the channel, I talk a lot about pivot point versus stiffness and understanding that. So one of the things on the Outlaw is it does not have an adjustable pivot point like the Lynx or the Axle or the Vice. Those latter two are 75 millimeter products. The Lynx is their tech toe. You don't have that, but this one is a little more ball of foot, meaning the pivot point is further back from the toe and basically activates the ball of the foot sooner in the turn. So one thing I did want to mention is I've been talking to some customers that are coming from 75 millimeter, but they're coming from like a G3 Targa or a cable binding that had a very, very neutral feel. And a lot of times, unless they're absolutely sure they want to go to NTN, which unless they're making the switch to an NTN boot, you may want to consider taking that middle step. And I think Axle and Vice, the Axle has the tour mode like the Outlaw X, and the Vice does not have tour mode. But what they do have is a slick pin, which is a device that's just a pin And it basically, you can see this is actually a slick pin too, but on the links on the vise and on the axle, you have 3 different positions that you can change. Now, on this one, the slick pin actually isn't the pivot point. This is the pivot point right here. So you can see as this comes up, that's where it pivots. Okay. So from the toe back to the pivot point, that makes it a fairly aggressive pivot point in comparison to maybe coming through from one of those 75 millimeter bindings that I talked about. Now, I did a very deep dive video. I think it's like a 25-minute video for our black level members on YouTube that talks even more about stiffness, pivot point, how to identify it, how that all measures out. And I go through specifically G3 Targas. I go through Outlaw and really give insight. And so if you are a member of our YouTube community, those are the kind of videos that I am doing, and they are long form, generally speaking, where I go really, really in depth on that. I mean, it really is like a 20 to 25 minute video and really digs into it specifically. And I use some other props to kind of show how pivot point works and whatnot. So yeah, back to this idea of if you're coming from a floppier, more neutral cable binding, G3 Targa is the most obvious one. And if you're not ready for boots, I almost would suggest going to axle or vise to give you sort of a transition to where NTN might not be as overwhelming when you get on it. The number one problem when people get on NTN is that they think it's quote unquote too stiff. And yes, the springs are stiff, but honestly, it's the pivot point that messes most people up. And they don't realize that. And the sad part about it is there's no adjustability. And there are really a lot of gaps in the market in terms of fitting everyone's style and taste in the pivot point category. Okay. So G3 Targa is probably one of the biggest jumps. And if you think you're jumping past a lot of things, like maybe Hammerhead would have been another one that had 5 pivot positions. And so if you're someone who is a 75 millimeter user out there, I would try, if you're not ready to jump over to an NTN platform because you don't feel like there's a good fit or you can't try it somewhere before you buy it, you don't really want to buy the boot and the binding all at once. My suggestion would be either move to axle, move to vise. Those have 3 pivot positions, and actually go out and ski position 1, position 2, position 3. If you're someone who can find an old pair of Hammerheads that has 5 positions, and that gives you even more range of pivot positions, so you can kind of figure out what works on that. Okay. So all to say that when you move to the Outlaw, I'm working on the mic. I'm working on my mic. There we go. I'll have to practice this one, you guys, but appreciate your patience. The biggest thing with this is it's just going to be more pivot than most people are used to. Now, if you're someone just getting into telemark, I always recommend, if you're going to get an NTN boot right off the bat, this is a great place to start. And if you don't have any background on telemark and other bindings, this is an awesome place to begin. And it gives you the ability to make great turns on snow. I mean, I think of like what bindings I started on. This is my 30th anniversary, by the way, so I'm really excited. So I started when I was 14 years old. So that means I'm getting old. And, you know, this has great lateral stability and also very easy to step into, tour mode, all that. I will mention on this, people that got Outlaw X in the early days, let's talk a little bit about this. This is some upgrades that you could make. This is called the double up heel climber. Okay. So it's got, for those of you that don't know what this is actually what we call a climbing post. So when you are in tour mode, this is actually, think of it like a stair stepper. So if you're going uphill and you flip this up, so this is obviously for more mellow terrain. And then as you get on a steeper skin track, you want to put this one up. And what it's doing is it's making your foot only have to come down that far rather than all the way, which is going to wear you out a little bit faster. So it's basically like I said, like a stair stepper. So I'm climbing up, boom, my heel hits, and that's what that's for. Now, the reason I bring this up for those that might have bought Outlaw X in earlier iteration, they still were using a different heel that had a single climbing post. And this is also for people that were mounting it. It was a little bit more difficult to mount. And this one's very easy. It comes pre put together, easy to put on. And I think that's a nice upgrade. So if yours doesn't look like that, and you'll notice it's kind of similar, but the profile on the old one is a little thinner and it's got the single post. You may want to consider getting that as an upgrade. So other things I wanted to bring up are and on here, there's 5 little lines, and that's actually, a lot of people don't know how you adjust them. The measurement is actually by flipping this part of the claw up, and the back of the claw matches up with the lines here. I know I don't have a close-up of that, but you can imagine. And we do have there's an entire playlist on this YouTube channel. Just look it up. I'll try to put it in the show notes after I get off here. But it's an Outlaw X playlist. So it's everything from how do I step into the Outlaw X telemark binding? How do I step in with brakes? Okay, because that can be tricky sometimes. And how to adjust it. And then there's even some tech ones like the claw is sticking. How do I fix that? And we'll probably add more to that. Again, the YouTube, what we're trying to do is sort of span and give more access. So if you own that product and you bought it from us, or maybe you didn't buy it from us, but you're out there, you have access to knowledge and information about that particular binding, how you can modify it, how you can make it work better for you, and how to fix it. So on freeheellife.com, you can find all the parts for it. And if we don't have the parts, you can reach out to us. Some aren't available. Generally speaking, though, it's a pretty easy binding to work on. So a couple other things that you can consider when you're upgrading, if you're moving to the binding, or maybe you have it and you don't know about some of these upgrades, one of the cool things about this binding is brakes. Okay. Now, the one thing with telemark brakes, if you're new to telemark or you haven't used brakes before, if you're coming from Alpine, you're probably familiar with brakes that when you step on the brake, they kind of come up and in and away from the outside of the ski, called a retractable brake. Unfortunately, in telemark to this point, although there may be some strange iterations in history, more or less, we do not have retractable brakes. So you'll notice that there's a 125, there's a 110 millimeter. So that's basically, you want to make sure on the waist of the ski that you're getting the right brake. If your ski is, the width of the waist of your ski is going to determine whether the brake, what size brake you need, and if it's going to work. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to explain to you too is some people, if you get close, there is a little bit of plastic that can get shaved off. If you do want to shave it off, you got to be careful not to cut the whole thing off. But the easiest way to do that is with a Dremel tool, is what we use. Maybe put honestly, there's a little cone sander. That's the one I like to use. You can use more of the cylindrical ones, but you can Dremel off the material on the inside to give you a couple extra millimeters of clearance if you're really trying to get it on there and clear it. Okay. Old Telly Tay showed me an interesting trick. He actually, where you hook up is on your inside of your skis. And so he actually showed me a little trick where he actually cut off one of the sides. And so you didn't have to get the clearance. and you didn't hook up that way. So anyways, there's some little modifications you can do, but wanted to let you know brakes are available. You can get them on the website. I'm more of a leash guy myself. Bluebird Day Gear leash. We make these in-house, and these are a Freeheel Life product. This is kind of a longer demonstration one, but they're a little shorter than this, probably about here. You can find them on the website. They're in stock right now. I was literally making these earlier today. So they are made with lots of love and telemark passion, and you can buy them on the website. Now, I like leashes personally because these brakes are a little trickier. There are bindings like Rotofella Freeride. I actually do like the brakes because it's really easy. And also there's not really as easy a place to put the leash on those things. So when I do ski free rides or freedoms, the brakes work good. I've never been a big fan of the brake on this one. Taylor's a huge fan of the brake. So it's personal preference. The cool thing with this is this little slot right here is a place where you can slide the brake in and basically put brakes on, or I'm sorry, slide the brake in. Slide the leash in, and you can actually put the leash on there, and it works really well. Another upgrade that I wanted to call out before we hop off for the night is the Outlaw X Stiffy springs. So there's only a single spring that gets used in the Outlaw. You can see it. It's underfoot right here. So there's a single spring there. That stock spring, like I said, on the back of the adjustment, there are 5 settings on the spring load. So you can preload the spring 5 different settings. And you can also then take the stock spring out, put the stiffy spring in, and you get 5 additional settings. They're not huge increments. There's probably not really an exact percentage of like each line equals X, but you are adding additional preload, and it is noticeable. I mean, if you're skiing on a stiffy spring that's preloaded to like 4 or 5, it's stiff. It's very stiff because, like I said at the beginning, when we're talking about the pivot point, you have a very active pivot point and you've got a really stiff spring. So I personally, what I run is standard spring on 3. That's typically where I like to go. I can ski stiffy springs. I tend to like a stiffer boot like the Scarpa TX Comp if I'm going with a stiffer spring with more preload setup. As far as sorry, I got like a hair in my mouth on that thing. That's what's weird about these live things, right? You're here with me. We're in it together. Generally I'm going TX Pro, and I'm rolling with a Scarpa TX Pro boot, standard spring on a 3. That's kind of like my sweet spot that I like. I feel like the spring's not overbearing on the boot, and it gives the boot a nice even flex, and I'm not overdoing it with the spring. So Outlaw X by 22 Designs. It's a great binding, very good if you're getting into NTN. Like I said, if you've listened to any of our material on YouTube, on the podcast, we're always talking about NTN is just, and 75 millimeter. These are the ways we fasten to the ski. That's it. The main objective that you should have as a telemark skier is make sure that you're getting something that feels right. And just to wrap up what I was saying earlier is that G3 Targa or a floppier, more neutral cable binding, it actually might be better for you this year to get into Axle Vice from 22 Designs or even an old Hammerhead and start playing with the pivot point and really start understanding pivot point versus the stiffness of the spring and how those work together, so that when you are ready to move into an NTN binding, that you understand where the pivot point's at and you can kind of break it down. So I hope that was really helpful for you tonight, and appreciate all of you out there. I'm excited to get on snow and start doing some videos out there. Maybe we'll have to figure out how to do a live stream from the hill. Who knows? Technology is pretty cool. like I said, please like and subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you be a part of our journey as a business. And this is our 9th year in business. We're super excited about that. If you want to take the extra step and become a member of the YouTube channel, there's 3 levels. There's green, blue, and black. You can go to the membership link in this live stream video and check it out. If you are on mobile, actually go to desktop, because there's some issues with mobile. For some reason, YouTube and iOS mobile, if you're on Apple, like an iPhone, it doesn't show the options. I don't know why that is. Kind of crazy, but please go check out those options. We'd love for you to become a member and support Freeheel Life. You can always reach out to customer service at freeheellife.com with additional questions, and we would love to help you. So, like I said, if you're a black level subscriber or member of the YouTube channel, I am going to hop on here. I'm sorry, I think I said 7 o'clock, but I meant 6 o'clock. So, impromptu little catch up. I missed our live stream on Halloween, because we always do the last Tuesday of the month. So hopefully we'll see you there. Going to be talking over some history items and show you some fun stuff. So until next time, spread telemark always. See you later.